The Huge Show is live across Michigan, the only show where the people come first. It's a Buffalo Wild Wings Thursday. Remember, you can take the Buffalo Wild Wings Fantasy Football Challenge each and every week for free on our statewide web address, thehugeshow.net. Weekly salary cap. You can choose your formation. It's not a league, so you can play each and every week. See if you're better than me. My team had a rough week last week because no one scored. Calvin Johnson, Marcus Colston, nobody scored. Brian Van Ogden, one of our Lions and NFL insiders, his thoughts on the Lions and the Bills coming up. Also on Veterans Day 2010, you can pay tribute to a man or a woman who has served this country or they're serving today. Also, a military movie that still inspires you. One movie that you say is the greatest war movie, military movie of all time. You can join in on the conversation. 1-866-838-HUGE, our toll-free number. That is on the CME Football Hotline. Email me on the Amway inbox on our statewide web address, thehugeshow.net, and also drop an opinion on the Huge Show fan page on Facebook. I got this note from Thomas Waite. He writes, as I write this, my nephew is being presented as Purple Heart for wounds suffered in Afghanistan. He is Marine Lance Corporal Robert Thrakill, critically wounded on October 26, 2010 by an IED. Bobby, as we all call him, is a combat engineer tasked with being on the point of the foot patrol searching for IEDs and clearing a path for the rest to follow. On this day, on this patrol, like many in the previous days, he found one, informed everyone to get back, and unfortunately, as he turned to leave, he thinks he triggered a secondary pressure plate and was hit with the explosion. Bobby's wounds are very extensive. He lost both legs just below the hips, and his right arm was severely injured but will heal, as well as his abdomen. My wife and I drove out to Maryland to see him last week. His mom and dad and other family members were already there supporting him and comforting him. I was taken back by the injuries, but very pleased with his attitude and his recovery. As a 19-year-old man, he is now dealing with things in his head that no one should, but many have. The hospital floor he is on is a Marine wing with every room filled with Marines with very similar injuries. He got to see two of his buddies from his unit as they were healing too with the same wounds. What struck me more than anything was the fact that he survived such a massive wound to his body, and 10 days later was arguing with the customer service rep at Sprint about getting a new cell phone. The level of care is outstanding, but with a heavy heart, I think it's so good because they have had so much practice. Bobby is doing well, and they say he'll be able to get some new prosthetic legs at some point. He has a long recovery ahead, and I would ask that we all, no matter what political belief or religious belief or nationality, that we take a second to just be human, one group, united, and think about the servicemen or women today, the ones in harm's way now, the ones that served in the past, and the ones that never came home. I am so proud of my nephew that words pale in comparison to my emotions, not because of his sacrifice, but of how he is staying strong, fighting through this, and being so determined to not let this change who he is. He is still Bobby, still a son, still a brother, still a nephew, and still a Marine. Think about a veteran today. Happy Veterans Day. And that is from Thomas Waite with a picture of his nephew Bobby on the bottom, and Bobby in the hospital with Thomas, and it looks like his wife. And that's a note left on my Facebook page, and that pretty much sums up what Veterans Day is all about.
It's pretty sobering stuff to
19.
hear that.
19, folks.